Dr. Owusu Ocho. It's Dr. O for the 804. As the premier knee and hip shoulder sports surgeon in Virginia, I would like to remind you that health equals power. Sports build and uplift communities, nothing else can. The mission of sports medicine is to keep athletes of all ages and levels at the top of their game. Dr. O is located at Ortho, Virginia, Schrader Road office location. Appointments can be scheduled online at orthovirginia.com or by calling 804-939-6688. You can follow Dr. O on Instagram at Dr. O_ for the 804 and uplifting educational content about sports health.
Hi everyone, I'm Coach Rick Stockel. I am co-owner of Newman & Dunn Real Estate here in Central Virginia, as well as I am a high school boys basketball coach at Monacan High School. I've sold over 1,300 homes here in Central Virginia, and I would love to work with you and your family in your home buying needs. I am a proud primary sponsor of Ballin in Virginia, and I hope you enjoy this show.
Welcome to another episode of BallinVA. And as I keep telling you guys, man, you just never know what to expect here. We're going to keep bringing in the hits. Today, man, our special guest is my guy, Shawn Mears, public announcer. You probably know him way more than I do because he do a lot of stuff, man, which we're going to talk about today. Highland Springs basketball, college basketball, high school basketball, football, pro baseball, semi-pro, just everything, man. And he's going to give us a lot of the background and just a lot of stuff. And also, he was podcasting before me, so, hey, man, this guy a jack of all trades. What's going on, bro?
How you doing, man? Nice to have you. Nice to be here, first of all.
I appreciate you. You know, it's one of those things when people contact you and you say, well, okay, you kind of want to hit the story. It's like, you're the first. Because I haven't had a PA announcer here. Wow. So, like, you're setting marks everywhere. Like you said, you're the first of this, the first of many to do anything, and you can just let us know that today, man. So you are the first PA announcer we have had here on BallinVA.
Well, let's set the bar high. How about that?
Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Let's set the bar high.
Where did it all start, man?
It all started. I was coaching high school football here in the area. I coached for Manchester, Thomasdale, Meadowbrook, Henrico. And so I was coaching and I had an injury. I tore my Achilles, and my pastor always says, let your downtime be your prep time. And so while I was on crutches for 6 months, I was trying to figure out what I can do to stay close to the game. And I came up with my podcast at the time. And my podcast was On the Hot Seat with the Coach.
Okay.
And my focus was local community heroes that nobody knew of that they should know. And so one of my first guests was Malcolm Bell.
Shout out to Malcolm Bell. He was here.
Shout out to Malcolm Bell. And Nate Daniels, which runs Daniels Sports Performance.
In Northern Virginia. Shout out to Nate.
And those, I had East End Boxing. The Richmond Black Widows, which are going to play for the women's tackle football championship. These were my first guests. So I used to coach with Charles Scott of Huguenot High School and the Canes. So these were my guests that I had on my show. And shout out to Legacy Internet Radio and their owner, Marcus, as well, because he gave me the opportunity to have a podcast. And so when COVID came, the game changed.
It did.
And it went from more sitting down one-on-one to going to Zoom. And to just be honest, my technology was garbage back then. So so I had to kind of figure things out, and so I after that, funniest thing happened was I went to Henrico High School for a girls' playoff game. Okay. And Rob Welsh, shout out to Rob Welsh, which is the director of Henrico Sports Entertainment facility now in Glen Allen. He was the AD at the time of Henrico High School. And I was talking to him. He got a phone call. The PA announcer had a tire blow on 95. And they were about 15 minutes before the national anthem. And he said, hey, Mears, can you just run through the starting lineup for the national anthem? By then, my guy will be here. Well, he never showed, and I did the whole game. And that was my introduction to being a PA announcer.
Wow.
Yep, that's how I got started. And of course, me and a microphone, I never found one I didn't like.
Okay.
So it was just an opportunity for me to showcase what I thought I knew I could do, but I knew I could do it. And so I will say this, I went that next season, shout out to Harry Lee Daniel, the athletic director of Highland Springs High School. We had a conversation that summer, and he said, hey, I want you to do Highland Springs football. And they were the hottest thing smoking back then, coming straight off a state championship. And I had probably one of the best intros that I ever developed was with Highland Springs.
Okay.
Where, I would call them the reigning.
Yes.
Defending.
Yes.
5A state champions.
Yes.
And they would run out and they would
I had no idea that was you. I had no idea.
It was crazy. And so it just became a hit. And then from then on, how I got into college was I was getting my rehab done at Virginia Ortho.
Okay.
And in walked in assistant coach for Longwood basketball.
Okay. Wow.
And he was taking Michael Christmas, which used to play for Longwood last year.
Down there from 7'5".
Yeah, from the 757. He was taking him to get his knee scoped. And so I just started talking. We started talking. I said, hey, I'm a PA announcer. And he said, man, you need to call our AD. And I did. And I called the AD. And the AD invited me up that next Tuesday night. They had a basketball game, showed me the locker room and everything. We had a small interview right then. And I ended up doing 23 of Longwood's 25 baseball games that next spring. And that was my first Division I college experience was with Longwood baseball.
Okay.
And so I did that. And then I'm a businessman too. And I know how to network. Use my calls, emails, texts. And so I did the same thing to VCU. I said, why can't I do the same thing at VCU?
Right.
And so I contacted Ed, the director of athletics at VCU, and I started doing VCU volleyball.
Okay.
And I did VCU volleyball that next semester. And then I got a call from Jeff Harrington, which is the baseball announcer for UVA. And he said, hey, man, there was been an injury here with one of our PA announcers. He had a medical emergency. Can you fill in for women's lacrosse? Mind you, they were ranked number 5 in the country. And so I was like, sure. I was like, when do you want me to fill in? He was like, this Saturday. And I looked on the schedule, and it was senior day.
What
a great introduction to the ACC would be on senior day for the number 5 ranked Virginia women's lacrosse.
You were thrown straight into the
fire. And of course, me with my confidence, I'm going to say yeah anyway.
Right.
Because I believe I can do it, and I rocked it. And after that, I've been tagged as the voice of women's lacrosse and women's field hockey at University of Virginia.
Okay.
I did 22 of the 26 VCU baseball home games. And if God willing, I'll open up the new CarMax field when they open up next spring with VCU.
Wow, man.
As their announcer.
Congrats to you, man.
Yeah, I've just been all over the place. I mean, you name it, I've been able to do it here in Central Virginia.
You have to have some confidence to be a PA announcer, man. People think they can just get up there and do it. I've seen it. No, it ain't for me.
It's tough. It's tough because you don't get a do-over.
No, you don't.
You don't get a do-over.
That's the part. You don't get to do it over.
You don't get a do-over, so it has to come out right the first time. Preparation is the key.
Right.
I tell anybody that I can jump on the microphone at any time, but if you give me an hour to prepare, I'm that much better. And I think for the young kids out there watching, and a lot of kids, I know a lot of my students out here, they do watch your podcast.
Oh, well,
be prepared.
I appreciate that.
Be prepared at all times.
Absolutely. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's it. And that's it. And I walked in with my book bag. My book bag has everything that I need at all times. So, you can call me to go to a game right now. I'm ready.
See, yeah, I see you walking. I say he ready to hit the road or something. Because I know you told me, if I don't get you now, it's you gonna be busy. So I said, no, man, come on in here right now while we're at the time. And I'm so glad that you told me. And it was crazy because I didn't know, because we were running around here, and when I had asked you to do the introduction for me for the girls showcase we had last year, Highland Springs, I was like, oh my God, that is him.
Yeah.
Like, wow, man, I didn't know that. And you did an excellent job, man.
Thank
That's
you,
why
man.
I was just like, wow. Then you said that, was like, man, okay, you were the one that been selling all this heat when you introduced him at Highland Springs.
Yeah. That's, I get my claim to fame, and I've also been doing a lot of weddings. The new trend now is to have your wedding party sound like a basketball intro.
Really?
And so, people pay me a decent amount of money to make their wedding. Oh, yeah. They want to have their bridesmaids and groomsmen introduced, like they're at a basketball starting five. And so this has been a very fun summer.
I tell people all the time when they come here, everybody wants to be, they feel like somebody. Like, everybody want to feel like, hey, I want to be a part of something.
Absolutely.
And like you said, the basketball started. Can you imagine that?
Oh, I've done it 3 or 4 times.
That people,
it's crazy.
Look, they already look it up, and
oh yeah, oh yeah. And I sometimes I have one of them that let me write their introductions, and then I've had some that says, "This is what I want you to say." And of course, hey, you're paying me, so I'll say
whatever you want to say.
So it's awesome,
Man, that is dope, man.
Yeah, it's great when you can get to, you have your 5 or 6 groomsmen and introducing now the best man, standing 5'10".
Oh my God.
He's always late to the party, but he's always on time for the groomsmen.
Man, I'm telling you right now, I will be dope on good.
It's great. And so you get that. And the sweetest, my mentor told me that the sweetest thing to a person's ears is their own name. And so I was just at a PA conference I was telling you about off camera this week, and we had 28 of the best PA announcers on the East Coast, and it was led by Trip Durham, which is the PA announcer for Duke basketball, and Rob Contry, which is the voice of North Carolina football, and he has that big circus with Belichick and all of them going on. But these were the leaders of that conference, and to have them look at me and say, "Man, you got so much swag on the mic," it's crazy. It makes me feel like I belong. I belong in that group of when people say these are the top announcers in our industry. To know that I'm on the right path is good.
And right here from Central Virginia, 804, I just like messing with the guys down at the beach, just like doing
Well, actually, I'm from the 7-5.
Oh, I lost it. We got to take that one out, Zach.
Right. I grew up in Virginia Beach. So,
really?
And that's part of the...
Damn, we can't even claim a PA now, so they got that.
But you know what, though? The funny part is when I first moved up here, remember I told you I was football coach for years.
Right.
And so everybody had this thing, right? When I was at Thomas Dale, like, oh, Bird, we hate him. And I had friends over there. I don't care.
Guys, right.
So the same thing, my son went to Verina. I'm at Highland Springs. They're like, oh, we don't talk to those guys. And it's like, man, I don't have these rivalries. That's y'all's rivalry.
Right, on that field.
I don't care, but it's amazing because when you're cool in every hood spot, you get so much more done. And so the funny thing was I called the Verina Highland Springs game at Verina, even though I'm the Highland Springs announcer. I called it from Verina this year.
Really?
Yeah. And so
that was the Saturday game?
That was the Saturday game.
What, man, it was so hot.
Oh, it was crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah, because me and Garrett interrupted. We was together. Going back to sideline to sideline that game.
It's crazy, but this year's game's gonna be on Thursday night.
I heard.
Because he didn't want it on Halloween night on Friday, and we all know why.
The game is,
we all know.
The game is this year. Where is it at this year?
It's at the Springs.
It's the Springs. That's right. It's
at the Springs this year.
Interesting.
And it's Thursday night football at its best. And so,
well,
you guys, if you don't have anywhere to go on October the 30th, you want to be right there at the
You definitely want to be there
in beautiful Highland Springs.
And Virginia. Now, for me, I got to figure, and that's the day that normally I cannot go.
Yeah.
But I can't miss that.
Can't miss that.
I can't miss that.
Can't miss that.
Well, I guess I will be lack of sleep that day. Yeah, wow. You just told me something. I don't know. I got to find a way to get out of that. I got to find a get away. I can't work that day because I go to work at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be working Thursday, going into Friday. I'm going to take off.
Yeah, you got to take off for that one.
I'm taking off. I'm playing hooky.
Got to take off for that one. That's what PTO is for.
Yeah, well, I'm independent, so I ain't got that. So I got to find somebody. It's going to cost me more to be in PTO. It's going to cost me. But wow, man, that is dope, man. That is a, man, but you was also talking about like you being the PA announcer at the Richmond Squirrels. Like I said, Richmond Braves and Squirrels.
Yeah.
Man, you left that out too.
Well, I've only been an opportunity to fill in. So,
Okay.
So I can't tag it as my claim, so it's okay.
How was that?
Well, the opportunity to work at the Diamond it's the biggest venue in Central Virginia.
Yeah, it is.
You go down 95. Anybody that's going down 95, whether you're going or coming, you've passed the Diamond. And to say that I've rocked that stage, more than 30 times, it's an awesome feeling in my world. Now, in my son's world, he's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, because
they don't care.
So they grew up.
Right.
Baseball was always the thing before. It was Parker Field, and now it's in the Diamond, and that's going to be coming to a close, man.
Yeah, and the new CarMax Arena, like I said, hopefully, knock on some wood. VC will have me back, and I'll be able to open that arena up.
Well, they'd be crazy now too. I don't think you'll have an issue there.
You never know. The world of college athletics.
Yeah, it's constantly changing.
Constantly
right?
changing. So
constantly changing, but we'll hope for the best on that. VCU, don't mess up. Don't mess this one up, VCU. Don't do that. But no, man, that is dope, man. So all of this from an injury.
All this from an injury. Yep. It's amazing what happens when you're laid up for 4 months and you can't move, and your thoughts just go, and luckily I had some crazy thoughts and I've had some good thoughts, and luckily the good thoughts won, and so I was able to take some vocal lessons during that time. And so one of the things I want to talk about, can I talk about this for a second?
You can talk about whatever you want. This is your time.
One of the things that kind of get under my skin is when you see people enter my world, right? And then they just think that they can do what I do without any type of training. So, vocal lessons, breathing lessons. I've taken singing lessons. Why singing lessons? Because it keeps you, it tells you how to keep your voice and how not to lose your voice. That's why I can do 3 days of basketball tournaments and only thing I have is Ricola and room temperature water. It teaches you what to put in your body, what not to put in your body as far as when you're training for long-term speaking. When I have to talk for 8 hours, and like I said, at your showcase last year,
right,
it was 8 basketball games
all
for
day.
3 days straight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I did 8 basketball games 3 days straight and walked out of there and I could go sing the national anthem the next day.
Wow.
Because I've been trained for this. And so one of the things that irks me, people say when you walk into other places and other arenas, other games, do you judge? And I try not to judge, but I always want to look up in the press box or look down and say, I wonder who's there. And no disrespect to some of the guys that do it in other schools, because there has to be a PA announcer at every school.
Yes.
No disrespect to those that do it, but take your craft seriously. Learn some things. Learn how to control your voice. Learn how to enunciate. Learn how to use your diction. Learn how to pronunciate these names, because the Eastern Europeans, the Africans, they are infiltrating these games. And you cannot dance around it. You can't.
I'm so glad. See, I didn't know we was going to have a close-up, but you did it. You did it. Man, I did not know that. Yeah. But see, you know what? It's funny you say that, because I'm very particular, and Zach would tell you, I'm very particular about how I want things and how I do things. And I know sometimes it may irk them, but like, I think I've had one video, I could hear myself, and I hate that. Yeah. And when you go back and you look at that, to them, it may not be a big deal, right, because we're in a day of instant gratification and clout chasing. So it doesn't matter because the dumber it is, the more hits you get.
Right.
But when you're trying to be a professional at what you do, and you wanted to come out, because you're not just looking at the people that's just clicking and stuff like that. You're hoping to get an opportunity to where it may be a professional opportunity.
Absolutely.
You don't know who's looking
Or listening.
or listening. So that's why I explained to them, me particular, I try to, but I haven't been, consistent with it. But when you go back and you look at you, be like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I can't believe I sound like that.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's tough.
People don't understand. And the other thing I hate too is when you have, a microphone without a stand and they cut the microphone like a rapper.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
And they and I tell people all the time, you don't have to yell into the microphone. It's a microphone.
You just talk.
Just talk, and your voice will project. And so a lot of times, you do get excited, especially when there's last 2 minutes of the game, the team hit a big three to take the lead. Yeah, you get excited. Pull back and yell.
Right.
Pull closer and yell.
It's cool.
And jumbles the mic.
Oh my God.
And so those are some of the things that, when I go to other places and watch other people, you just kind of, laugh. And now my family and I, every time we go to an arena or a showcase or something like that with somebody else on the microphone, my wife usually looks at me and goes,
They ain't you. In the words of Chris Brown,
right.
They ain't you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's a blessing.
It is, man.
It's a blessing.
It's so refreshing to hear that, because again, and I think maybe just because we're a little bit older than the younger generation, and they don't see that, because we think in the long game,
Right.
And they're thinking the short game, and if they get the short game, they can get out early,
Right.
But you got to trust that process.
You have to trust the process.
And
it's been a long process.
Yeah, right. And that's what I try. So even though we may agree to disagree on it, you have to stay the course, because you know exactly at the end of the day where you want to go.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I just I just try to meet that happy median, and just well, this is what I kind of want. This is what I kind of like. So when me and you was talking the other day, it was so refreshing to hear that, because sometimes you think you're on planet Mars, like you're talking to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, man, it ain't about that. You wanted to look a certain, to sound a certain way. So, no, you, Keon Brown, shout out to Keon Brown.
Shout out to Keon Brown. What's up, Keon?
That's my guy. And he even called me and said, hey, man, I'm going to give you some pointers on what to say, what not to say, and way, because I said, man, I struggle with this. I struggle with that. And I said, he said, no. He said, I get coaching every time after I do it, after I call my games. He said, you're natural at it. And he said, I know you want to kind of be the perfectionist at it and stuff. Like he said, but I'm going to give you some pointers that maybe to help you out. And I thanked him so much for doing that.
Well, like I said to you off camera, I mean, I watch your podcast. If you guys are not watching this podcast right here, shame on you, because there has been some top-notch guests, and what you've been able to do was continue some of the things that I tried to do. Was to highlight some of the people around here that people should know. People should know some of these people that are on this podcast.
Man, I thank you, Shawn.
And so this has been, ever since the first day, I was like, man, I don't know how I got to get on. I called everybody, Harry Lee, I got to get on. You get me on, because this is one of the freshest podcasts in this area that highlights the people, again, that people should know. And, like I was telling you before, it's one of those things that in my world, in the media world, there's very few African Americans.
Yes.
There's very few African Americans. It's not an African American dominated world.
No.
In this conference that I was at outside of Durham this week, there was, again, 28 announcers, 12 faculty members, and there were only 2 people that looked like me.
Man.
And these were some of the best people in the area in what they do. And it's refreshing to know that I belonged in that room.
Yes.
But it's also, like I was telling you before, I am Black history in this area.
And Hey, man, I want to say something else, but no, go ahead and say it. 'Cause I'm going to be respectful.
Yeah, I am Black history in this area. I'm the first African American to be a PA announcer at Longwood University. I'm the first African American to be a PA announcer at University of Virginia. I'm the first African American to touch that microphone at the Diamond. I'm the first African American PA announcer to work at William and Mary, and these are four predominantly PWIs that are, it's tough to crack those walls and to say that I was able to do it, and not only do it, but to bring other people with me, because I'm not gatekeeping.
That's the key right there.
Yeah, I don't gatekeep. I tell people just how to get on, and I will come on. Let me walk you. Let me introduce you, because I wanted somebody to put me on, and there were people. I mentioned them before. Jeff Harrington from the University of Virginia gave me a break. Blake Petticord. Shout out to Blake Petticord. He's the PA announcer for University of Richmond football and men's and women's basketball. Shout out to Blake Petticord. He's one of the first ones to give me an opportunity to tell me, hey, call this guy, tell him I sent you.
Okay.
And so shout out to those guys. And I'm one of those guys too that once I see that because I ain't gonna recommend you if you ain't good.
That part,
right? You have to be good. You have to know your craft. But I don't mind. I'm not a gatekeeper. You have some guys that, you say, hey, man, how'd you do that? Oh, man, man. Nah, I'm asking you.
put me on.
Put me on.
And it's a shame that we're in a day and age you can't put nobody on. It's a shame that that a lot of guys you try to give flowers to, they don't want it because it's from you.
Right.
They don't think you're qualified enough.
Right.
Because you got some of these athletes that think, oh, well, you want all Metro, so I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
You want all state. You didn't play basketball.
Right.
So you didn't play football. So why do I need to interview? You don't know the sport.
Right.
I'd rather go talk to Kendrick Warren because he played.
Right.
Even though Kendrick don't have a podcast.
Right.
But they'd rather go talk to him. But would you rather go talk to Sean Robertson? I mean, he's qualified, right?
Shout out to Sean.
Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Dwight Vick. Those guys who I saw at the beginning. Like I said, you were at a podcast on a time where if you were doing that, you had to be good because, again, the podcast world was popping off, but not for regular day and everyday jack trade guys like myself.
It was tough. And but like I said, I admire you and your setup and with Zach, who's behind the camera.
Yep. Shout out to Morissette Media, man. They told me that from day one.
Those guys are good, man. Those guys, and you take your hat off to those guys. And so I wish I had a Zach, back in my day. Maybe I'd still be doing podcasts.
Hey, there would be no me. Because if I had saw what you were doing, I would have been like, nah, I'm good.
No, I think like I said, you've been able to touch an area that not a lot of people would like to touch. And that's the difference too, because you just don't put on the superstars. You put on, I've seen you had a principal. I saw you had, some athletic directors, and these are the people that are behind the scenes that make this whole show go, but they don't get their flowers.
They don't. Everybody wants to put up here, oh, you got to be a superstar. Yeah. Oh, you got to be a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, no. We had the semi-pro football guys up here Saturday. Yeah. I didn't know those guys. I went to school with one of the guys, but he said he wanted to come on last year, and I told him, and they said ran into some hiccups. Hey, man, come on through.
Yeah.
Guys like yourself, because, again, without you guys knowing who you are, we don't know, like, okay, it might be somebody that's aspiring trying to be a PA announcer.
Right.
And they don't know who to contact.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll come back and be like, hey, man, you had somebody on your show. Can I get in touch with them? And that's what it's all about. But they gatekeep. And I call them out. But the guys say, you should have interviewed me first. I don't know you. How you going to go tell somebody else I should have interviewed you first and I don't even know who you are?
Yeah. And what have you done in the game to require the interview?
Exactly.
That's it.
And then my thing is, well, okay, if you felt that way, why didn't you hit me up? Their pride won't let them. Yeah. You reached out to me and I said, you know what? And I called Harry. I said, hey, I seen this guy before. He said, no, that's my guy. He said, blah, blah, blah. He said, you should interview him. You got to introduce your story. Because again, people inbox, and if I don't know you, 9 times 10, I'm sending them to Zach.
Right.
Because I'd be like, I really don't feel like, because, man, you need to get me up there. That's not the way. That's how you talk?
Some people are, and here's the thing. You should have a great amount of self-confidence.
Right.
And believe that you are good at what you do.
Right.
But there's a way to project that, and there's a way to get other people to see your goodness without you having to scream it. Now, I will say this. My mentor told me, he says, you know what, sometimes you got to toot your own horn, because
I ain't got no problem with that.
nobody will hear you if you don't let them know
I have no problem
about what you do. And, you know, in my world, especially, like, you know, sometimes I go back to some of my students and my other friends that aren't big into sports, and I'll tell them, you know, hey, I'm doing UVA North Carolina this weekend. And they're like, oh, cool.
Right. Yep.
Cool.
Get that, yep. If I sit up here and say, man, I got the Shawn Mears interview podcast, man, I did an episode with him. Okay, cool. Until you actually go in, and then they'll come back 2 years later, and they'll come back, man, that interview was dope, man. It's 2027.
Right.
I did that interview 2 years ago. I had my neighbors hit me up and say, hey, I just saw that your Jason Williford interview.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just did that one? No, I did that one a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Really? I sent it to you guys. Why did y'all watch it?
People get into that thing, and we talked about the O conversation. Shout out to Pastor Michael Jones, or Delegate Michael Jones, my pastor. I always include him into things that I say because he's poured so much into me. But he did a sermon a couple of weeks ago about the O factor, and I think we talked about it before. So there's a lot of things that people will say O to, but that O can be taken in two different ways. You know, I can say I'm a PA announcer, and they'll go, oh, and I'll say I have North Carolina Duke, and they'll go, oh.
Don't tell me how that make you feel. I can tell you exactly how it make me feel. Because if I go in, then I'm gonna go into a whole different spell.
Right.
And I don't want to do that.
I mean, you can say, hey, I have a podcast, and they'll say, oh. And they'll say, oh, I have BallinVA podcast. Oh. Okay. All right. And so it's two different O's, you know, and so I like to have the O where they turn the head to the side, you know, oh, you know, that's the one that I like to hear. Because it's the one that shows that I have their attention now. And one of the things that, you know, I've always believed in is if you want the attention, you have to give them something to be attentive to. And so one of the things that I like to say is that everybody has a resume, and your resume has to be noteworthy to have the opportunity to have the attention put on you. And one of the things that we talked about at this week's conference is everybody's done games in my world. Everybody's done games, but not everybody's done tournament games. And so in my world, it's how many tournaments have you done? You know, I've been able to say I've done 3 ACC tournaments, 2 A10 tournaments, and 1 CAA tournament. And so I have an extensive tournament roster now. And also, one of the things that I've strived to do is to do Olympic sports. I want to be in the Olympics. So there's a guy that I know it's a good friend of mine, Mike Markham, and he's out of Charlotte, but he was one of the Olympic PA announcers. They actually flew him to France, to Paris this year, and he did the Summer Olympics. And he's also one of the PA announcers that does the, the Bahamas basketball tournament that they do every year.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that does that every year. So they fly him and his wife down to the Bahamas. You know, he does USA volleyball. They flew him to Utah. And I want to be on that type of time. So I've now gotten the opportunity to do boxing.
Man, that's one of my childhood sport coming up.
Shout out to East End Boxing Club.
Definitely
shout out to Johnny Johnson in the Main Street main event. Doing boxing completes my 9-sport rotation, which allows me to apply to be a PA announcer for the Summer Olympics in LA.
Man, that is beautiful.
Now, whether I get it or not, we'll be praying.
We calling that
hoping.
We calling that in.
But to say that I will, I've done 9 different sports that are non-Olympic sports, and so.
Man, that is dope, man. This is the first time I haven't heard anybody that says that they're striving to do something in the Olympics. I mean, we haven't even had athletes say that they want to even, try to compete. But
yeah,
the Olympic thing is a whole different. And then, think about it. LA to 2028?
2028. God willing, my name's going in the hat.
Hey, man, I hope you get it, bro.
I hope so too, bro.
I hope you get it. That you talk about a bucket list, a check off the bucket list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's GOAT status right there. As the young kids say, GOAT. They always putting the GOAT on everything.
Yeah, they put the GOAT on everything.
On everything. Like, kids, stop using the GOAT logo, okay? That ain't meant for you to put that on everybody, because if that's the case, then we wouldn't even be talking about the greatest of anything.
Right.
But yeah, that definitely would be something, because I've never, man, you talking about strive for perfection.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, that once you find your niche, and this goes out to the kids listening, find what you're good at and perfect it. You'll never know how good you can be until you try something. And if the thing that you should go after is the thing this is what somebody told me once. They said, if I were to put $1 million in the bank account and say, you cannot touch it, but you got to go to work at it every single day for a whole year, then at the end of that year, you can get that money. What would that job be? That's what you need to put all your energy and all your focus on. Because I would grab this microphone and do a basketball game, football game, volleyball game every day of the week if I could, because that's where my passion lies. And so once I figured out what my passion was, that's where all my energy goes. And so young kids out there listening right now, find your passion. If it is making beats, then make beats. If it is rapping, then rap. If it is singing, then sing. If it is dancing, then dance. If it is playing video games, then video game. I met a guy 2 months ago who won the Call of Duty tournament.
Okay. The game.
$45,000.
Play a video game?
And then he won the Halo tournament with $17,000. And my parents used to always say, you can't make no money on the video game. I tell you what, I can't say that no more.
I can't say that no more. Yeah,
because I met a guy.
Yep.
And guess what? Guess what he does now? He's sponsored by some company in Japan, and he goes around the country every other weekend in video game tournaments.
That's not even a job. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And, so whatever it is that's your passion, kids, whatever it is that's your passion, but you got to stay true to it. You can't be wishy-washy. You can't be lukewarm, as my pastor would say. You got to be hot or cold. And you got to go at that thing like your life depends on it. And I take the microphone very seriously. I get mad at Harry Lee.
Really?
When he grabs the microphone. Oh, I get hot with Harry Lee. Shout out to Harry Lee.
Do tell.
No, but because I feel like, and even my pastor, I work sound sometimes for our church. And, my pastor said, I should drop the mic right now. No, please don't.
Please don't. You don't want to do that.
Please don't. And so when you see people mishandle, and Zach will probably tell you that, you see people mishandle equipment, you get a little.
Oh yeah,
you get a little, so.
It's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money, but you have to invest in your craft. You have to invest in your craft. And the first thing that I wanted to do was to get lessons. I wanted to get educated. I wanted to invest everything that I can to make sure that I was the best interviewer, the best announcer, the best game day storyteller, because that's all it is telling stories. That's all it is telling stories.
Is that a lost art now?
It is.
Because I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I had that conversation when I first started this. And I said the same thing. I wanted to do it. And I was saying, no, you don't have to do that. You can just do it. But when you are passionate about what you do, you want to perfect it. But I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna blame. I know I'm going off top. I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna blame. I'm gonna blame American Idol, and I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna blame. William Hung.
Okay.
Remember She Bang, She Bang?
Yeah.
'Cause remember back then.
Yep.
That's when the whole viral thing started. And when he made it, and when they was shipping him out because it was funny and everybody was watching it, that gave everybody the blueprint to not work hard anymore.
Right.
Because basically what they said was, you know what? You don't have to do this. You can just get you a phone or a little camera and you can do something dumb and stupid and you can get rich off of it if you do this stuff. And that's what people started doing. So when I said this, no, you ain't do that. I was like, but I want to. I should because I want to be. And then they talked me out of it. So I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try because you listen to the people who are in it already. Mm-hmm. And if you think they've had the blueprint to do it, then you find out that they don't have the blueprint to do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I could have been doing it all this time. I could have been actually doing that.
Yeah. Somebody's trying to gatekeep here.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. That's why I was just like, I think it's just, and I hate to say that, I think our generation is the last of that. Because I watched a video the other day, and rest in peace, the Godfather, Kevin Samuels, and he said that because we're Generation X.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that we were the first generation not to fight a war.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't even think about that. It was like, wow, yeah, your uncles did.
Right.
But we didn't.
Right.
So I think we're the last of the generation that are truly about trusting the process and working crap. Because now, if you don't teach your kids how to do that stuff, we're in the Instagram, the Instacart, instant Polaroid, Instamatic, whatever you want to call instant. Everything is clicks, snack. And when you try to tell people, I ain't gonna do that. Tommy down the street got 100,000 views on TikTok doing this stuff.
Right.
I ain't Tommy.
Right.
Why can't you just respect what I'm trying to tell you, what I want to do, and help groom me, or just simply say you don't know how to do it?
That part.
Say that. And if you don't, I'm not gonna stop messing with you with that. I'm just telling you what I think I should do because I want to perfect this thing. But we live in a generation now that everything, and I know it seems probably people listening, it sounds ancient, but it's the truth. The process doesn't change. You still have to trust the process.
You still have to trust the process. And you still have to put your time in. For those people that went viral, they went viral for a season.
That's it.
But they're gone now, and they can't duplicate that process. There's not very many people that went viral once and then did it a second time because they're still struggling to get that same type of
it's like
audience.
You're chasing that first high, is what they say.
Yeah, you're chasing that first high. Exactly.
And you'll never get that high again. It's like, man, I want to feel the same way I felt it the first time. And I'd be trying to tell them, but they're afraid. And you know what I think it is? I honestly think they're afraid.
Sure.
I think they're afraid because you're going to have to put in some work. And it's like, we come to a generation where, our grandparents, they did it. Our parents, and then we got the best of both worlds.
Right.
I was raised by my grandparents.
Right.
So now we have kids that are the same age as these youngsters that are in this space, this social media space. And we had to learn it because we had to kind of see what our kids were doing. So I would say the Generation X, I want to say that we probably got, because we came up in the 90s, which we always said the 90s was the best time.
It was a heck of a time.
I know our parents would say probably was the 60s and the 70s, but for us it was the 90s. Because it's like, but they're chasing that, and it's just like, I'm just going to stick to what I know.
And I think that's the recipe. And I think you've shown with your podcast that, like I said, your podcast is way better than anything I've ever done.
I thank you.
This is what in my dreams, back in 2018, 2017, this is what I wanted my podcast to be. But I didn't have that. Sometimes people don't have that forward thinking. And I think, you have a forward thinking concept. You have a wonderful engineer to go with you. And that makes all the difference in the world. And that's the other thing too that I tell people is that if you don't have good people around you, you can only go as far as the people around you help take you. I've name dropped about 30 people since I've been here because those are the people that helped me get to where I am. There would be no Shawn Mears without Rob Welsh. Mm-hmm. There would be no Shawn Mears without Blake Petticord, Harry Lee Daniel, Jeff Harrington, with Marcus at Legacy Internet Radio that gave me a shot to do what I do or to at least portray my talents. There would be no me without somebody saying, I'll give you a shot. Mm-hmm. And, I'm the guy that believes firmly that you treat the janitor the same way you treat the president, man. I swear, because
thank you.
I'll go into, I sometimes I substitute teach at Highland Springs, and I'll go in and the first place I'll do is go and high five the facilities guy. Mm-hmm. Because I know that if I ever need something, it ain't going to be the principal that I go to. I'm going to go to the facilities guy first.
And you'll get your results a lot quicker than sooner.
And so to me, when I walk into a gymnasium for the first time, the first thing I do is go find the security guard. Hey, man, how you doing? Shawn Mears, nice to meet you. Mm-hmm. And shake his hand and say, man, you're doing a great job. Even if I don't even know what kind of job you're doing, you could be the sorriest security guard in the world. But I'm going to treat you like you're the man because, dude, if something pops off here, hey, can you get me out of here?
Exactly. And see, that's the thing. I think we just come from that generation, man, where I just say the grandparents, man, they did their due diligence. They came from a time when you had to be like that. Like I said, I say the same thing. This happened by accident. But as I got into it, I saw where it could go. But, I think great things happen when bad things happen. And let me elaborate on that. Mm-hmm. This thing happened because of different visions that me and my co-host had. You try to put them on, but they don't see it.
Understood.
And you see how great they are. And I had people kept telling me, man, you're it. You're it. I said, but it's not about me. It's about us. They're not for you. They're not for you. They don't understand what you're trying to do. They low key kind of trying to stand in front of you. And I'm just like, let them go ahead because I'm really camera shy.
Yeah.
But when I met these guys, and the first thing they said was, "Man, you sign with us, man. You're not gonna have to call anybody again."
There you go.
And when you have people like that to believe, then 6 months and then Dr. O hit me up. Then the same weekend, Rick Stockel hit me up, and I'm like,
shout out to Dr. O.
Man.
Shout out to Dr. O.
man.
Shout out to Dr. O.
Man, the things
great guy, man. He's a phenomenal guy.
I'm gonna let you go and finish. You go.
No, he's a phenomenal guy. I've only met him once. I met him once, and he's such a sweet spirit of a guy, and you can tell he's one of those guys that would help you in any way that he can. Even if he just met you, he's a great guy, man, and he definitely left an impression upon me that he's one of those people that I hope I leave that same impression on people.
I will.
He's a good guy, man.
I will hope. I just think I got too many. A lot of people hate me, so I don't think I'm gonna get there.
Well, they say if there's no haters, then you're not doing anything right.
That is true.
So,
and actually, I embrace it.
Yeah, I do too. I love it.
I embrace it. Right? You have to have that kind of like what they say that the alter ego.
Yeah,
you got to have that.
For sure.
Because it's like, and I think for me, like the Lee Mary is my alter ego.
Right.
They kind of just take me somewhere else, and then Larry is just Larry. I don't like certain things, but that alter ego Lee just turns on, and it just, when that light comes on, it's like, all right. But it's always been there. That's always been me. And the words, I got to quote the Godfather, Kevin Samuels again, rest in peace. I've been like this since the 80s. So people who know me, they know this is not no act. But it just, like you said, you got to shout out people like that, and Garrett and Ruffy, and shout out Kelvin Oliver too, man. KO, man. He doing a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. That brother, man, I just saw him on rung the bell on New York Stock Exchange, man.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
okay,
Core
KO.
Mortgage. Yeah,
Okay.
This was this week.
Okay.
I was like, you talking about somebody grinding from the bottom? You talking about start at the bottom now? You here?
Yeah.
KO has been doing a lot of stuff, man. So definitely shout out that brother.
I mean, you have these guys that are, and you talk about having that alter ego. You know, I think I have it, but I have an alternate voice, right? They say. And so, you know, of course, right now I probably sound like a 35-year-old Hispanic guy on this podcast, you know, but if you get me inside an arena, inside a sound system, I sound like Barry White's younger brother that played sports.
Man, when you did that, when I didn't even know who you were, I just was trying to help, because when you're dealing with people who have low self-esteem,
right,
or they don't get the praise,
right,
I should say, that they get. And I didn't even know who you were. I just went over to you and said, hey, man, we got a girl that's playing on this particular team. She's coming back home.
Yeah, I remember
that. Put a little extra, announce her last. And I didn't even tell the coach, who I should have. Shout out to Coach Keisha, Bishop Ireton. I should have told the coach. Mm-hmm. I didn't even let the coach know. I just impulsive just did it, just like, you know what, let me just do, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And it was good that you did that, because it was like, oh, she's from here.
Yeah, she's from here.
Bet.
Yeah. And we're playing,
in front of her old team and her fans.
Fan base, like, okay, people that she competed against was like, man, let's just show this young lady some love. And you did, and the people stood up, and I just wanted her and her family to feel the love.
Right.
Because again, like you said, at the weddings, people want to feel like a certain way. LL Cool J said it best in In Too Deep, the movie In Too Deep. Everybody want to feel like they're part of something.
Sure, absolutely. And everybody wants to get the flowers. Well, some people don't. Some people want to be low key. I remember Andre Ingram, shout out to Andre Ingram.
Oh, definitely shout out that brother. Got to get him on.
When he came to Highland Springs, it was a couple seasons after he did his Laker thing. And so Tennyson came to me and Harry Lee and said, hey, man, Andre Ingram's in the building today. So we're going to, give him a round of applause during halftime. And a lot of times in my role, they tell me this, of course, 5 minutes before. So it's not like it's time.
You got to think.
And so I'm thinking, and so thank God, Google is one of my friends. And so I was like, okay, Andre Ingram, what has he done? And so Google gives you a whole list. And I was able to give him probably one of the best intros that I've ever done.
Shout out to Andre Ingram, man.
On the fly. And that was a cool way of introducing him back to Highland Springs, to the people that may not have known who Andre Ingram was.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to do. My favorite things to do are senior nights.
Really?
It's stressful because there's always somebody showing up. And somebody coming in and
that day was senior night at Verina, day rather at Verina when you did the football game.
And so it's always stressful because you got, Lil Ray Ray's grandma, granddaddy, and Uncle Junebug, and everybody wants to walk down that, and it's
Pee Wee and them,
right? But it's fun, and so they fill out the name card and they say, this is Uncle Junebug. It's like, cause Uncle Junebug got a real name. Like,
exactly. No, he just Junebug,
right? And so it's always funny to do that, but it's heartfelt, and I take it seriously because that's somebody's grandma, and it might been the first time grandma has seen you play.
Yep.
Or it might have been the first time that somebody has seen you, and and they want to see. They're proud to walk out and stand on center court with their grandbaby for senior night. Or for some people, I heard, this is the first time my dad's ever watched me play. That's another story in another day, another interview, talk about that. But if that's your dad's first time ever seeing you play, then come on, Pops, and let's make the crowd feel like you haven't been missing in action.
This is the first and last time.
So let's make it special. And so I love it when it's senior night. It's stressful, but I love it because that's the culmination of all the hard work from the parents to show that they've been there and to get you there. And it's your time to shine in front of your parents and your time as an athlete to say thank you, for believing in me. Thank you for the practices. Thank you for driving me here. Thank you for the cleats and the shoes and the gloves. And so even if it's 3 minutes, I'm going to give you the best 3 minutes that you've ever had, and so those are the things that I think separate the people that do it from the people that love it.
Wow. See, I ain't crazy. I'm not crazy. Shawn, you just don't know how refreshing this is, man. Because sometimes I go home and I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Or it felt like that I said something wrong. And in this day and age, with everybody's getting protection, like it's nothing. You can't say this, you can't say that. Everything is offensive. Yeah. Even if I said hi, my tone, instead of me saying hi, I'm like, hi.
Right.
What is wrong with you?
Right.
You're crazy. Right. That was offensive.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's so soft-skinned nowadays. There's no more thick-skinned people.
Oh man, they wouldn't have survived in the 80s.
And if you criticize somebody now, even constructive criticism, you're hating. Everybody's a hater because they don't like what you like or they like how you do things all the time. Nobody's hating on you, boo-boo.
The truth is not hating.
It's not. Yeah, and sometimes you might not be that good. And like I said, I said it at the 12-minute mark that sometimes when you go to a place where you're in front of other people who are your peers, it's a time for you to evaluate yourself. And I know that, again, there was 28 guys there. I'm in the top 10, but I ain't number 10. And I know that there was 5 guys there that were pretty good. And those are the 5 guys that I told them next year when we go to this conference, I'm going to be in the top 5, and I ain't going to be number 5.
See, that's a professional right there. So y'all missed that, but that's a professional. Yeah. See, I hope one day to be as smooth as today. Didn't catch what you did, but I
didn't catch it.
No, that, and you right what you said, man, because that confidence is key. You got to have confidence. You have the people around, your right team around you to believe. And once you got that, man, I don't think nobody can stop you.
Well, that's the plan. The plan is to continue to break down barriers, break down walls. What I want to do, and I'm talking to Harry Lee Daniel at Highland Springs and Lamont Folsom at Verina, is to start a mentorship program, to start a training program so I can train other people how to do public address announcing, and so that they can take over and they can be the next person after me.
Man, that is, you know what? It is dope because you got a couple of people over there that's doing a lot of stuff. I know, like the recreational football, and you got Terrell Eberhardt that's doing
Man, let me rolling with Rel. If you never rolled with Rel on Facebook, you got to roll with Rel. Clean it up a little bit, Rel, but
yeah, that part.
You got to roll it with Rel, man. Roll those guys.
He on his way.
He has a tremendous platform.
He's natural
and he's good.
Yes.
Like I told him, I said, I had some conversations with him offline too. Just, take this thing out and pick this thing up and put that down.
He's good at what he does, man.
Good, man.
His platform, people don't follow him, man. Shout out to Rel.
Shout out to Rel.
Because I was like, he's probably next up over there.
He is.
He does. I was like,
he is.
And you know how people always try to compare you to stuff. And I told Rel, I said, Rel, you and I don't do the same thing. That's why I don't mind he actually ran a podcast. When I first started, he said, man, you have such and such. I was like, Well, how about you come here and introduce these guys and tell me who they are? I'll let you do the podcast. He said, man, I'm not qualified. I said, Real, you're selling yourself short.
Rel is good.
And he did that, and he did the episode where we had our signing day part 2 that we did in January 2023. He did that. He ran this podcast, and I told him, I said, man, no, you're on your way. I'm not intimidated by you. Have my seat. I'll sit right over there.
Yeah. There's enough for everybody to go around. And so when I tell people that as far as announcing, they go, oh, man, you got all the big games. No, there's games going on every Friday night, every Tuesday, every Wednesday.
That's
brother.
right.
So there's enough to go around for everybody. It's just a matter of how much you want to invest into this. Some people say that, and let me say this too, demand your pay. Athletic directors, pay these people, athletic directors, because you have the budget, and make a budget for your PA announcers, because these people they'll be better if you pay them better. Guarantee that. Shout out to Harry Lee Daniel.
Drop the mic on this one, right? And drop the mic, because Harry Lee, I'm going to sound like Malcolm X when he's talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what he always said. Harry Lee always tells me, if your product is good, you're getting people concession money, new uniforms, you can try to get new teams to come here from out of town, the teams that we see on TV. So all that money can come back into the school to be able to pay PA announcers, and you got your media people, all of that stuff, man. It matters.
It matters, and there's been some people that have asked me, hey man, can you come and work our Little League event? No disrespect to the Little League, but it's tough. It's tough for me to go from Division I sports to a 7-year-old, 8-year-old game. It's tough, and I'll do the best I can. But it's really, really tough. And the other thing too is prepare yourself. If you have an announcer, help the announcer. Don't give him a handwritten roster lineup sheet. Type that thing up and print it out. Everybody has a printer. And don't send it to him on his phone, because there's no way he's going to be looking at his phone trying to read out little Johnny's numbers.
In the words of Lauryn Hill,
get yourself prepared. One of the things that I love about the schools that I work for is how well they prepare.
Yes.
They have rosters ready. They have the numbers ready. They have all the coaches' names ready. So it really makes my job a whole lot easier, that all I have to do is come in and perform. I don't have to do so much written work because it's already done for me. Mm-hmm. And with coaches, let me get on my soapbox about coaches for a second.
I love this.
All right, coaches, especially basketball coaches, you know who your daggone starting lineup is going to be. You just played Saturday night. Why do you wait until 5 minutes before tip-off to give the guys your starting lineup? Come on now. Let's talk about this. Come on now. You sitting there 5 minutes before game time, and you talking about, let me see who's starting. You don't know who's starting? All right, coach. Start questioning your credentials now and how you put your team together. Here it is, 2025, and you're supposed to be nationally ranked, and you ain't got your starting lineups ready yet? Come on now. Talk to somebody that don't know the game, but that's crazy. That's called lack of preparation, and you want to spend more time in the layup line doing the stuff you need to be putting together your starting lineup and give it to the scorers table so they can be ready to put on a good show. Because what we do is we are fan engagement and fan entertainment. Because the fans are the ones that are paying to see you play, putting the money back into your pocket. So the PA announcers, the scoreboard table, the guy that's running the music, and if you're at high school, it's the PA announcer and the music guy at the same time. So we are responsible for fan engagement. One of the things that I've learned from my best friend, who was the director of training and development for Disney, is that if the fans like the product, they will come back no matter what the team looks like. So when players tell me, man, your music is whack, I'm not playing it for you. I'm not playing Little Baby during halftime when you're in the locker room and your grandmother's sitting in the stands. Grandma don't want to hear little baby. Grandma doesn't want to hear Glorilla during halftime when you're in the locker room getting chewed out because you're down by 10 to deep run. Okay, so I'm playing music at halftime for your mom and for your dad, not for you.
I love this.
Sorry, gotta get off my soapbox.
No, I love it because this is so BallinVA. Because let me tell you this. Shout out to Julian Brown, even though he get on my goddamn nerves. I try to clean it up, but I had to say it. He always tells me, Nova Legends podcast, he always tells me, man, you know how to rile people up. What are you talking about, Julian? He thinks that I get you guys on this soapbox and to be able to do these type of rants. So I guess this is my fault now, huh, Julian? I guess, maybe I didn't see it that way, but I guess he said it's just your vibe. And people come in, they make people feel comfortable.
Well, I'm definitely comfortable to be able to bring this out, but it needs to be said because I do enough in Central Virginia and around this region.
Yes.
I can speak to it.
Yes.
And so, you guys come in here, you're nationally ranked, you're ranked, you're here, you're there, but yet it's 5 minutes before game time and you don't have your starting lineup in the book.
Let's say.
Like get your priorities in order. Right? You should be coming off the bus with your book already filled out. The only sport that I've done that you're allowed to wait that long is volleyball. Volleyball, you don't have to introduce your starting lineup until 3 minutes before the buzzer.
Okay.
That's another.
That's
another story.
No, and see now you didn't just make sure. So you make sure you call me out when we have our Supergirl showcase in January 2026. Okay, we got to make sure that your stuff is straight because we're going to have some nationally ranked teams that's going to be playing in this tournament. So we want to make sure that when you shout them out, state champion, national ranked, blah blah blah, we let people know that we're just not just bringing these teams in here. We want you to know who's here and why they're here. And you will see the product on the court because you saw what Bishop Ireton and Manchester and those girls, well, both teams gave it their all.
That was
and
a
it
great
was just
game.
And Manchester, great program. Shout out to Rasheed Wright. But that day,
Rasheed Wright.
Yeah, that day, just Bishop Ireton, they were just at a different level, and that's why Rasheed said, "I want to play them."
Yeah,
because I want my girls to be as good as that program right there.
And that was it's such the fan experience, and people talk about why this is important because if the fans are not in the stands, then there is no tournament next year because you have to make some money. And so people talk about me all the time. They say, well, man, if you say another thing about that concession stand, well, no, because I want people to hear the concession stand. And I want you to hear that they got nachos, hot dogs, Gatorade, Pepsi products.
Yes.
I want you to hear that because that's how the concession stand makes their money.
Thank you.
And so my job is at every time out at the end of every quarter to remind you or remind those ones that are coming in fashionably late that, hey, we do have these things at the concession stand. And stay tuned for the next game is going to be a barn burner, even if it's not a barn burner. I'm going to tell you that's going to be a barn burner. That way you can stick around.
Absolutely. And I love it because you walking over there and just that click, oh, you know what? I'm going to give me something to drink.
Give me something to drink.
I'm going to give me some cookies. I was craving some cookies, whatever. See, that's what I'm talking about. And see, that's a professional. And that's about studying and understanding your craft. And see, man, when it been cool? Since when it's been cool not to study your craft? Like, I don't know. When did that? Well, I did. I answered my own question. I did.
It changed.
I already did that.
Yeah.
I already said that.
It
I
changed.
Do that. But no, because I somebody told me yesterday that I want to say it might have been Kennard that you had to fill in the John Marshall as well.
Yeah, I filled in the John Marshall several times last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was a fun atmosphere to work into because everything is so tight, so close. So it's shout out to Coach Ty, and I can't wait to see what you guys do down in Petersburg, Coach Ty.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting.
You know how to find me, Coach Ty.
Coach Ty, hit him up.
You know how to find me. But it's going to be interesting to see those guys, King Baycott and Latrell and the big guy.
Oh yeah, I can't think of his name. I just number 0.
Yeah, good Lord,
from
those
Alabama.
Guys, those guys are good.
Country guy.
Oh man, those guys are good, and they're respectful too, man. I love talking to those guys. I love interviewing those guys, and that's another thing that we do that I would like to do, that Harry Lee has allowed me to do. Was he allowed me to have some autonomy on the sidelines and to say some things that I normally couldn't say at a VCU or at a Longwood. And so it just continues to bring that fan engagement to where people want to go to a local basketball game, because not only because it's the only thing going on that night, but it's because they're going to get entertained and they're going to have some enjoyment, at least for those 2 hours. They can not think about what's going on in the outside world and just sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show.
Man, shout out to Harry Lee, man. He brings the best out of us. One of the youngest, if not the youngest, athletic
if not the youngest, yeah,
in high school, and one of the best. I could go on a rant and say some things, but I don't want to make other athletic directors, feel some type of way. Somebody might, I don't want to do that. But the facts are the facts. He's opened a lot of doors for myself. Mm-hmm. And to have a lot of other athletic directors say, hey, Lee's all right, and they decided to, let me in, Shout out to Aiken over there at Bird,
Yeah. Shout out to Lamont Folsom.
Definitely shout out to Folsom.
Folsom is great. Folsom is bringing some great ideas to Verina that they needed for a while. Too, and he's just been setting the world on fire at Verina. I mean, he gets my vote as the top new guy around. I can't call him new anymore.
Yeah,
but,
more seems like he just stepped right in.
Yeah, he stepped right in.
But like he's been there forever.
Right. He just made an immediate impact. Lamont Folsom, he's the nicest guy you ever want to meet.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's just the nicest guy.
Always mellow.
Always mellow. He's the nicest guy you ever want to meet. So shout out to Lamont Folsom and Danielle Smith at JM.
What's up, Danielle?
She just had a birthday. Happy belated birthday, Danielle. And so she's another one that has a forward vision. And of course, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over there.
With the transition.
With the transition. But, she's a phenomenal talent. So I know she'll do well as well.
Yep. I have no doubt of that. We definitely don't see that. I think she'll be fine, especially with the leadership of Principal Murray, which we called on this show the gold standard of principals.
Absolutely.
By Karen Bettis Davis, because Principal Murray, man, she does some amazing things, and I'm saying it because my relationship with her, not trying to down anybody. Certainly, you got to say that nowadays, but it's my personal experience.
Because people don't feel included, and if you don't include people, then they think you're hating on them.
They're hating on them stuff. We got to reschedule my interview with Dr. White.
Dr. White, you better hurry up because he's about to have twins. So he's going to be off the radar.
Man, yeah.
So you might want to make that phone call today.
Zach, I ain't gonna say it.
Yeah, because once that happens, man, he's going to be woof.
Yeah, we got to get Dr. White.
But shout out to Dr. White. He's another one, of course. Him being the leader at the Springs, he has welcomed me with open arms, both in the classroom and in the athletic arena. And so, it's been a pleasure to work for those guys. And Lauren Johnson, just to give me the autonomy to do what I want to do with the football team on Friday nights and to say some of the things that I need to say. And shout out to Devon Yonkers, which is the band director at Highland Springs.
Okay.
Which is another thing. You talk about the band is
jamming.
It's a part of the show. It's a part of the entertainment value, So, one of the things that I love about, again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but some schools don't have the forward thinking to give you a show. They're thinking it's just a basketball game. No, it's a whole production.
Right. You want to just do your job and just go to pay your money, do your job, go home.
There's a whole behind the scenes thing. And that even comes from me buttering up the referees and the officials. I have a little candy jar. I have hand sanitizer. So when the officials get to the scorer's table, I take their jacket, fold them up real nice, give them a shot of hand sanitizer, offer them a piece of candy, because I want them to feel comfortable coming to arena where I'm at. And I want them to know that, hey, I'm here. I'm not new to this. Matter of fact, I tell them, hey, I do Division I basketball. Stay where you are. Just flash your numbers. I can read backwards. You know what I'm saying? So it makes their job easier. And so it's all about giving the total show, for athletics. Athletics is no longer, if you've been to any NBA game or any NFL game, there is so much going on between the kids playing in the separate area to the what do they call them? The suites that have the food and stuff going on, and half people ain't even watching the game.
No, they're not. They're doing other things. That's where all the deals get made.
Right. So
that's where the deals get made.
It's the entertainment factor that I try to continue to bring.
When we were coming up, man, it was always the village. The community was it. Nowadays, if you try to do too much in the community, why you ain't doing it? The snitching and all this other stuff, And I'm like, man, that's what made us, man. We got to tell what's going on. So, we got to stop this violence and put the guns down and show more love, man, and stuff like that. We definitely need that.
Especially with these kids nowadays, man, because they don't fight anymore.
No, they don't.
They shoot, and they don't even shoot for the people that they intended to hit. That's the bad part.
Right.
There was a time in our day where, if you were with mom and dad or your girlfriend or whatever, we would just, let you know.
Okay, we're going to get you.
We're going to get you. Nowadays, they don't have no...
Or it was a truce on certain days. You couldn't.
Yeah, certain things you just don't do. But
nowadays,
they don't care.
Your grandma right there, they shoot her too.
Exactly. And it's just like, man, come on, where does it stop? We, especially like in the East End, we talk about that a lot. That it seemed like there was a time in the early part of the summer where every weekend there was a shooting. And so where does it stop? Where does it stop? Where does it get to the point where people are speaking out their differences or even handling it man to man as opposed to, to me, I lose respect for somebody that got to do a drive-by. I totally lose respect for you, because like if you going to pull it out, at least pull it out in my face and, or pull it out right here. Don't drive by me. That's I don't know, man. I don't know. Some things just, excuse me, Zach, for laughing, but
yeah, we don't mean to laugh, man. But just the way you put it was like, okay, that do make sense.
Right. Some things just don't. It's like, come on, dog. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, just put the guns down, guys. Just put the guns down and talk this thing out. There's other ways, man. Look, I'd rather see y'all on social media going back and forth and resolving it there and talking it out instead of just, just put the boxing gloves on. Get in the ring like we used to do.
Get in the ring like we used to do.
Like, you know what? Yep. Put the gloves on and go in the backyard, duke it out. And then y'all shake hands afterwards. Y'all done? You done?
You done?
All right, go home.
Bet. So I appreciate again the opportunity, man.
No, we thank you for coming in, man, reaching out, bro. This was love. This was beautiful, bro.
Yeah, this is
beautiful.
A long time coming for me because I've been watching all your shows, going, man, this is cool.
I feel like I feel honored, man, because when people say that, I don't know how to receive the flowers because I just think this is natural for me. I want to do this, but equally, the people who get upset with me because I ain't had certain people or I don't know who they are, I'm like, I don't know everybody.
Yeah. Bide your time, fellas. Your time is coming. And when you get on this microphone, you better have something to talk about.
Because and most time I'm interviewing you when I call you, I'm actually interviewing you when I'm calling you to see what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I save my media team because they got their own lives and stuff like that. But a lot of times, if I don't know who you are, you're going to the media team.
Yeah.
You better pass the test with them. Because a lot of times, if you can't make it past to them, you're not going to talk to me. And I'm not saying that I'm like this big, but time, I don't like my time being wasted.
That's it. And let me say this too. This seat is hot. Don't get it twisted. This seat is hot. Once these cameras come on and this microphone gets turned on and Zach gives you that thumbs up, boy, listen here. These lights are bright, so you better have your thoughts in order and know exactly what you're saying. It's not again, it's not a me show. It's not that. But again, like my mentor says, sometimes you got to toot your own horn, right? And so I tell kids all the time. I said, when you're driving, inside of everybody's car, and the side of that steering wheel is a horn. but the car beside you doesn't know that that horn works until you blow it. So sometimes you got to blow your own horn. So toot, toot.
Still that one.
Right? Sometimes you got to blow your own horn to let people know that you're here. And I think by me being on this platform and me doing some of the things that I'm doing in the community, and it's just not sports for me. You know, I've done award ceremonies. I've done Hall of Fame ceremonies.
I think that's where you met Dr. O, right?
Yeah, Dr. O was at the Hall of Fame ceremony. I've done the ESPYs for Highland Springs. I've done Verina's Wall of Fame ceremony with Coach Stu Brown was inducted. Tyrone Nelson was inducted. Shout out to Tyrone Nelson for the 20 years of service in the community as well. Shout out to Tyrone Nelson. Andrew Lacey, Coach Andrew Lacey was inducted. So I did their Hall of Fame ceremony.
What's up, Coach?
So it's just not sports. So if you guys need me to do some things and you can't get the great Sean Robertson because of his schedule,
exactly.
You know, then I'm a viable backup here.
Exactly. Shawn is busy. Shawn got his hand in everything, man. Busy man, like I said, one of the greats that we have in our city, man, and great at what he does. So, and always professional at all times.
Always professional.
He is. Got to send out to Shawn, man. But, man, that's it. Any shout-outs before you go? Always got to get shout-outs.
You know, I like to, again, talk about the schools. Shout out to Longwood University, their basketball men's and women's program, which I will be a part of this coming fall. Shout out to William & Mary Volleyball. Shout out to VCU Baseball. Big shout out to U of R Women's Field Hockey. Shout out to UVA nationally ranked women's lacrosse and women's field hockey team, which I am the voice of as well. Big shout out to Highland Springs, to Verina. Thank you to Main Street Main Event, which I'll be hosting this weekend. Shout out to the East End Boxing Club for, again, believing in me to host your events. And, you know, thanks to everybody that believed in me. Thanks for the people that that have given me opportunities along the way. There's a lot of people, and if I've forgotten anybody, you know, blame it on my head, not my heart. You guys know where you stand with me. I try to show the love to everybody, and I try to reciprocate that love to everybody that I see. And so the one thing that I'll leave you with here is that, you know, let your downtime be your prep time. And every time might not be your time, but when it is your time, make it your time.
And on that note, we are out. I appreciate y'all watching the episode again today, y'all. You know, go over, make sure that y'all check out my man, rickstockel.com for any of your home buying needs. Appreciate it. Thanks again.